Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today for the start of the crazy transformation that I've been planning to the newly acquired AMG GT Black Series. Now, as many of you will know, I rather like my brightly coloured cars. This was never intended to stay in the Graphite Grey Magno, as we're going to be changing it to Solarbeam Yellow. It is a stunning colour, the launch colour in fact of the C63 Black Series and the SLS Black Series and the AMG GTS back when it was launched as well. And I ordered this car in Graphite Grey Magno as a fantastic base to take it up to Chartwell to get the work started and to change it to yellow. Now, it's already nearly a year and a half since we did the same with the SLS Black Series, changing it from the Himalaya Grey to the Mystic Blue. Absolutely no regrets, love the result, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to turn out. Now, up to this point, I've done about 550 miles on the car. We're going to be doing a few more today, driving it up with the SLS as well, to take it to Chartwell to show them how it looks after 12,000 miles or so since the paint work was done. And then, well, we're going to be seeing a few stages along the way. We've got the paint samples. It's a long drive ahead of us though, so let's get things ready. Take this today up to Chartwell to get the paintwork started. If experience is anything to go by, from respraying the SLS or wrapping some of the other Shmeemobiles, I imagine right now that some of you are probably screaming at me, don't do this, leave it like that. The GT Black Series in this colour looks epic. And to be honest, you're not wrong. The Graphite Grey Magno suits the shapes of this superbly. It is effectively the Magmabeam with the satin black, or nearly black. It's a very dark grey Magno paintwork mixed with the aggression of the design and the aero and everything that's going on with it. But I always intended to make this a bright colour. If you look around, you get the point straight away. We've got the rally livery, the teeth orange, the midnight purple, the glacial blue, the hyacinth red, Isle of Man green, cerulean blue, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, liquid red, mystic blue. At the moment, diamond white on the sea. We'll see what happens, and the midnight green over there, plus the Orion purple of the 675 LT that's not here at the moment, and the grabber lime of the GT500 over in the USA. But the plan with this was always to make it into my own choice of spec. And if you look around, there's a lot of exposed carbon fibre here over the bonnet, the front splitter. You've got a lot of gloss black elements as you come around as well, the carbon roof, carbon mirror caps, and then come towards the back and you've got the gigantic multi-tiered rear wing. You actually always have a gloss black boot lid, which is an unusual design, and the full carbon rear bumper that you have as well, all of which gets a little lost on this colour. But if you're wondering why then did I not just order the car in Solarbeam Yellow, given it's a Mercedes colour, because that would probably be the obvious move, except here in the UK, for right-hand drive GT Black Series, it's not an option. You could only choose between 8 different factory colours, most of which are varying scales on the black and white grey scale. So not exactly the most exciting options in the world. You could have had Green Hell Magno, which I didn't really want. You could also have had, I think, Magno Brilliant Blue and one or two others, but I always wanted this to stand out and to look bright, which is why I did not get a Solarbeam SLS, because I was saving it for this. Now that the car has arrived, I basically chose to go for this colour because it means in the engine bay and those kind of parts beneath the surface, it's the best base. You don't get any bright colours that will show through later on. And we're going to Chartwell because the result of this was so superb. They impressed greatly, and remember, I took this there after doing the repairs to the Senna, and everything has turned out magnificently. No issues, no noises, no rattles, no defects, everything finished to the top standard that you could possibly want, and I'm expecting the same for this. So today we will take the two cars up. It's a fairly long drive up towards Chartwell to go and check out a little bit more of what we're going to be doing, to show you some of the paint samples and to run through, I guess, a little bit more about it. So let's first then get the two cars started, get them outside here at the Shmuseum, and get out on the road to take it, to transform it to Solarbeam Yellow. It might be the middle of summer, but it is a very British day. Overcast, grey clouds, it was just drizzling. I'm sure it's going to be miserable, but this is going to be quite the cruise up towards Chartwell. This car has now about 560 miles on it, building up the running in mileage. You need to drive it gently for the first 1,000 miles. Yeah, there we go, there's the rain. And it is not the most exciting thing in the world. It is very boring to do the gentle running in process. But given I intend to keep this car for the long haul, especially considering that I am currently starting the respray process, and that it will do rallies, it will do hopefully a VMAX run at some point, it will do drag races, it will do the Nürburgring, it will do other track days, I think it's probably better to play it safe, to go by the recommendations for the longevity of the engine, to basically allow everything to prepare itself properly. So that's why I'm going down the running in route. I know you could just rag it from the beginning and probably have a little bit more fun, but I want to ease into it as well. And obviously when I do pick it up, when it's yellow, and do a few more miles on it, it will be even more exciting to then get a move on properly with the car. We do have a bit of traffic here though on the M25 as per usual, as we make our way around towards the M1, which runs up towards the north to go to Chartwell, where of course I've visited many times with many of the cars from the collection. In fact, at the time I last went with the SLS, I think every car that I owned at that point had been to visit Chartwell at some point on my different journeys up and down. Today though, we will drop this off and come back with the SLS. It'll actually be great to show them that car and how it's keeping up. Obviously after doing the paint work, it went to Topaz for a full paint protection film. And if you're wondering, by the way, with regards to Topaz skin or a wrap as opposed to the paint, I want to paint it. I want it to be permanent. I want this to be effectively a commitment to make this car yellow. I don't want to do it just temporarily. In 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, I'd still like it to be Solarbeam Yellow. And the only way to really have that perfect result from it is to just go and get it done. I've got the SLS over my shoulder at the moment and it looks oh so cool. So that's why I've chosen to go the full hog effectively. I know that it's, in a way, some people will scream, you're ruining the collectability and the value of the car, but the value to me of this car is to go and drive it and enjoy it. If I cared only about, or rather was only about the money, I would never drive it. It would sit in the garage on 0 miles and then it would be a garage queen, and that's no fun on the other hand. So for me, I want it to do 20,000 miles. I want to have the memories. I want to build up that fun with it, that experience over the next couple of years, over the next couple of decades, and to keep this Black Series trio in the collection. So, yes, this weather, Cup 2Rs, not what you want. I might have to put some PS4Ss on it or something like that, or even just normal Sport Cup 2s, to be honest, because these tyres do not last long in the best of conditions, and they are far from ideal in this weather. Standing water is not what you want to come across. So we're going to see how this goes today, but take the cruise on up, and when we get there we can run through some of the samples and things and talk about exactly how it's going to be done. Thankfully, we've quickly found some sunshine, and with the SLS over my shoulder, I'm hoping we can take a little listen to it. I love that. The sound of the crackle. Oh, under the bridge there, that was good. It looks so nice. And there's something really special about making a car unique, like I did with that. You know, doing, well, there is another Mystic Blue one, but this is the only one in blue. Blue with the silver wheels. I love that car. It's so unbelievably cool. And that's what we're going to do with this. It's going to potentially go down as well to Opus. If you've seen my friend Jer Collector's car, GT Black Series, Project 1 Edition, and what they've done with that, there are a lot of potential options that we can do down the line, and these two, I can't wait to drive them on a proper rally together. This is awesome. This has been one of those journeys, traffic, rain, miserable, but we're nearly there. We're up here by Derby County Football Stadium, Pride Park, where I actually came recently to visit Miltech to install the Miltech exhaust on my Toyota GR Yaris, which is quite near to where Chartwell is, in the industrial estate around here. But we will be there in just a moment. It is incredible to see the SLS on the road behind me at the moment, and every downshift from that car, even though it's behind, how much you hear it from inside this, when you don't hear any of this, especially not when you're driving it gently. One thing about this car though, is that the brakes are super squeaky. I don't know if that's because it's been sitting around for a long time before the final parts arrived and I was able to take delivery, or if it's the compound of the brakes, what they've used in terms of the components. We'll learn over time, and obviously if there's a way to make it slightly less squeaky, that would be incredible. You can't hear it right at the moment, but you can hear a bit of it then you just get the ceramic noise. Carbon ceramics are standard. In fact, the whole spec, like with the Pro and the GTR Roadster, is all predefined. You can't change any of the options on this other than the exterior colour having comfort or track spec and the interior stitching, where I went for the grey stitch as opposed to the orange, because orange against a yellow car, forward ahead on this one, would not have been very nice. Anyway, we are about to pull up here at Chartwell, where, like I say, I've been many times before, following the progress of the repairs to the Senna and coming to visit the SLS while that was all being done before we came up with Turbo Tony to transport it back on down. I think we will pull in here, park up somewhere. I've got a few things I need to show you guys. The two Black Series are here at Chartwell, and I must apologise, it is very, very windy, but how good do these two look together? Let's come and take a look at a few things about the Black Series, including the paint samples. There are a couple of things I'd like to show you there, but also, very quickly, inside, we are again working with Heel Tread to launch some specific socks that go with this car, themed, of course, with Solarbeam Yellow. We've got the GT Black Series styling cues, and even the SH61 MEE plate on the soles. I am always found wearing Heel Tread socks. Pretty much every single video you will see me wearing something from them, so really cool to have made those as well. The information is down below. We've also got a few designs from the Cheers by Shmeemobile shop. You can see the V8 by Turbo. We've got the C63 Black Series Special, the GT Black Series design as well. You can check out those and more all over in the shop. But let me show you then, if I can manage in the wind out here, what we've got. Now, paint samples and colours have always been a big thing for me, and it's really cool when you can work with manufacturers, or in the case of respraying a car, to create the colours, to sign them off in advance. For example, in here we've got the Viola Bast for my upcoming Lamborghini Huracan STO. I've got a couple of other samples I brought with me, namely the original Orion Purple for the 675 LT Spider. Behind that we've got the Alan Mann Gold that I did for the stripes on the Ford GT, and of course the Solarbeam Yellow. Now, we don't have any sunshine on it at the moment, but this is the colour that this car is going to go. It is quite mustard yellow when you have it in the overcast dim light, and it goes to the much brighter highlights when you have the sunshine out on it, and you really get the most incredible pearlescent appearance from the car, which is really going to help with all of the lines, with shapes like the louvres here, giving more definition to the contrast with the exposed carbon fibre. And I tell you what, talking about the louvres, look at the way you can see the aero here, and how from driving in the rain it's all shot out over the sides and runs around the back as well over the wings. Always quite interesting to see. The car was a little bit dusty from having not really been washed up to this point, because what would be the point? It's all about to go through the processes to be completely changed to a totally different colour. Well, I think we need to take it round towards the back to go and have a slightly better look at this and work out what we're doing, perhaps under the bonnet, talk engine bays and talk about the other parts of the process. The sun is out. Let me show you this then. This is Solarbeam in the sunshine. It is an awesome colour, slightly goldy metallic, triple layer yellow in fact. These two together are just awesome, and the sun's already disappeared because we're in the UK and that's what happens. We've got an opportunity to see it. A specific area of interest is to talk about the engine bay. So if we open this up, and on the GT Black Series it is a double pull of the lever down there on the passenger side and come round, no secondary catch, just open it up. Inside here you'll notice that mostly we have plastic covers over the top, so you can't really see all that much below. Engine, turbos, carbon cap, some aero going on, some CFRP I think here. But basically the beauty of ordering it in the Graphite Grey Magno is that anything down below you're never going to see anyway. If it was bright Magmabeam orange, for example, and you made the outside yellow, that would look horrible. So we're going to keep the engine in. You could have the engine out, but why take an engine out if you don't need to? Mechanically keep it as it was and effectively just change the colour of the exterior components, be able to keep all of this exactly as it is. It's going to be interesting to see and cover more of that process effectively as it's being done. I've just spent a bit of time with the guys here to go through the car to work out every little detail of exactly how this is going to be done. Now, effectively, the respray will be done in the same way that we did on the SLS Black Series in terms of timescale, in terms of what we can hopefully see along the way as well, and crucially in terms of what's actually going to be painted, with one little change, something that could potentially be controversial that I'm going to do differently to standard. I will explain in a second, but to point out a couple of things that have needed to be discussed. Obviously at the front we have the full carbon fibre bonnet with those exposed sections. Now when all of this is painted with the triple layer yellow, it will have a gloss lacquer, but what's going to be done, and obviously the PPF that was put on here by Topaz will need to be removed initially for the purpose, but at least it's kept it from getting chipped, is have a completely smooth finish by being lacquered, so you won't see or feel any edges around that. If we come past, we've got lots more carbon, the mirrors, the roof, but what I'm going to change is back here, and like I said, this might prove to be divisive, but knowing that in some other regions there will be, I'm sure, some other Solarbeam GT Black Series, I want to make this unique. So what I'm going to do is change the boot lid. Now as standard, all of the cars, whatever colour they're in, have a gloss black boot and the gloss black runners that go here over the windows. I'm going to make those yellow, so obviously the badges will all need to come off. The wing will all stay black as it is now. We've got all of the carbon fibre, but this will all be in the same Solarbeam body colour that we have around the window, up over the top, exactly how it would be on the GTR Pro, the regular GTR, or the AMG GTS or GTC, whatever it might be. And that will mean that this, to me, will have a slightly cleaner finish. Obviously, we've got all of the carbon, we've got the big wing that contrasts against it. It will still look very, very mean. Now, there are a few other interesting things. For example, how it works here. These parts of the wider arch are part of the bumper. That's actually stuck on, so that's quite interesting. New parts might be needed. Oops, sorry, very windy. One thing I'm not sure about yet is the red around the V8 badge. Now if you have a Magmabeam car or anything else, you still have the red here. That's on every one of them, but I can't help but feel if down the line we did that black, it might look just a little bit tidier. Gonna have to see what worked out to be best for that, but otherwise all the gloss black parts here will stay as they are in gloss black, including the gurneys here at the front and the mirror arms, but I'm going to change these bits to make those yellow. And I hope that you guys agree with me that that's going to look the part. Obviously we'll have, for example, the door shuts, those will all be done. Everything in here, that will stay carbon, but all of this will be repainted. It will need new badges and stickers, but with the carpets and things, you don't need to go too far into it to give it the right look. Awesome. 667 miles, just more than the number of the beast. Anyway, right. I think it's going to be time in a moment to leave this in the safe and trusty hands of the team here at Chartwell to come and see it when it will look very, very different. This means it is time to depart and to leave that beast here for the moment. But first up, let us press the magic button in the SLS. This car sounds so insane. It's such a cool noise. So let's get on the road then. Start the journey back towards the Shmuseum, and we'll be leaving that for today. Off we go then. This is a little bit of a strange feeling to be leaving that. It's such a cool car, it's brand new, and just like I did with this car, I'm abandoning it for a while. But we will be back. There are going to be many, many, many miles with it in the future. This is such a different machine when you get into the SLS. And I need to remember to drive on the English side of the road, given its left-hand drive. Switching from one to the other is where it always gets a little bit confusing, but for the moment, we're off. We've said goodbye to it. We've got the 2.5-hour journey back towards base, hopefully with not too much traffic along the way, and we'll see how it goes. Now the best bit though. There's always one more downshift than you think in this car, and it sounds so monumental every single time. And then of course in a moment, when we exit from the roundabout, it gets even better as it opens onto a flowing road. I can put the foot down and have a whole lot of this. Just madness, just absolute madness. This car, I mean, I don't think the GT Black Series can ever sound like this, but if it gets a touch of this, it will sound good. This era, a golden era, and that's why I added the C63 Black Series as well, because the sound is the car, the emotion, that connection that you have with the car that comes from the sheer ludicrousness of it. Right, let's cruise on back towards base. and get this back home. And back at base with the notable absence then of the GT Black Series. Now on the drive back, the SLS has ticked through 18,000 miles, plenty more than when I picked it up, but I think still with a fair few more to go, as of course will the C63 Black Series. In fact, they've both now got about 18,000 miles, so we'll need to do that very quickly with the GT and get all three to about the same. Now I know some of you will be wondering, what about the value of the GT? Am I destroying how much it's worth by doing this? But as I said with the SLS, this is a car for me to enjoy. This is not a car that in a year or two I'm going to be selling. It is not a car that I'm going to be flipping. If I was going to do that, I would have saved it with 0 miles and have sold it right now for a ludicrous asking price, as those cars are doing around the world. But for me, it is a car to enjoy, to make personal, and not to worry about somebody else down the line. That's not what it's for. This is a car I want to build up the memories with and to share these experiences with you guys as well through the videos, just as I've enjoyed doing so with the SLS. So that is why I'm going Solarbeam. There was no ability for me to order it here in the UK in Solarbeam. Believe me, I tried, and the team at Mercedes and AMG effectively said it wouldn't be fair, and this is completely reasonable to do one in Solarbeam and not to do others as well. Now I know it varies from market to market, region to region, and there might be some others that surface, but the only way for me to be able to have one in Solarbeam Yellow here at the Shmuseum in my collection as a right-hand drive UK car. Now I know the SLS, I imported a German car originally, but that would have meant now ordering one in Germany, which I wouldn't really be able to do, so I'd have to buy it from the market at a significant premium. So you can kind of see how all of this loops back. And that's why I've made the decision that I have made, and today taken it up to Chartwell to get this process started. It'll be exciting to see it transform though, and I can't wait to get back to go and visit it soon. But in the meantime, some other pretty cool stuff coming along. So you know, I'm a big AMG fan, but I'm also a fan of my fast Fords with the GT and with the Heritage Focus RS, and with one that's missing, which we might see tomorrow. Something I'm looking forward to. For now though, thank you very much for watching. As always guys, that's it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.